I have experienced quantum jumping multiple times, and I'm sure that you have too, because this is something natural that we are doing quite often as part of our life. And it is not some magical woo teleportation, even though it seems like it when you are doing it intentionally. But it feels like you have teleported yourself into your desired reality. The air just smells different. It's a completely different vibe. Sometimes these shifts are more subtle and you don't notice them as much, and other times it's a completely different reality. And in this video, I want to explain what quantum jumping actually is from a practical point of view and how you can actually shift into your desired reality. First, in order to understand what quantum jumping is, we need to accept that we live in a multiverse where there are infinite parallel realities and possibilities that we can experience in our life. And that's why in manifestation we say that creation is finished at the moment where you can imagine your desire, because that possible reality already exists. Because if you can imagine it, then it means that reality is a possibility for you to experience and already exists. And all you have to do is to just select it and then teleport yourself into that reality. And you have to first shift internally and match your identity with the one of the you that already exists in the reality that you want. So basically what you have to do is to become that person that you want to be in your desired reality, and then your 3D reality will literally render in front of your eyes until it will become a full 3D experience. And that's why it feels like teleporting when this shift happens very fast, but it can take also a long time. It all depends on you and on how fast you can change. And I'm gonna explain a bit later how you can do this and why it's important, because you are not changing reality. You are just changing yourself and shifting to the reality that you already want, that already exists. And in this video, I will not go deep into the quantum physics and theoretical part and all the woo stuff, but rather instead I want to focus on the practical aspect of quantum jumping and how can you apply it in your life in a realistic way. And that is because you've done this like your whole life, and I think this is more important to know how it feels on a personal level, so that you also know how to apply it further whenever you want to, and so that you can shift into your dream reality. And unfortunately, you have to understand that this reality shifting is not always instant. Sometimes it can take even years for more complex realities. For example, if you want to become a billionaire, like for you, in order to shift into the reality where you are a billionaire, like you need some years, at least some years of experience, self-development, a lot of work in order to get there. And even though you know that anything is possible because you can imagine it, so that's a possibility. Now, please don't fall for this woo stuff, and please don't make silly decisions because now you know how to quantum jump. Because you have to understand that it is about you changing and becoming the person that is in your desired reality. And the question is, how fast can you change and actually become that person? And how long does it take you to change those limiting beliefs? And yes, it is possible to shift in any reality that you want, but you also have to understand that we need to respect the laws of physics of this universe and 3D reality at the same time. Alright, but how does it feel when you are shifting reality? Like, how do you know that you have shifted? Well, any change that is happening in your life and that you acknowledge as a change, that means that you have shifted into a different reality because something is different now. For example, like when you are changing your environment, when you are moving somewhere, when you are changing your job, your community, when you are making a new friend or breaking up with someone, or it can be even more subtle, like just changing your hair color or buying a new purse. Like any change that is happening in your life represents a shift. And you can also experience more spooky reality shifting, like for example when you've lost an object in your house and you cannot find it anymore. That is because you have shifted into a reality where that object doesn't exist anymore. Or it can be also the other way around, where you find an object that you have been searching for like 10 hours in literally the exact same place. And that is because you have shifted temporarily in a reality where that object was not there. And yeah, that's why also Mandela effect is real. I know, spooky. And in order to understand quantum jumping, you also need to understand that our reality is projected by our awareness. And this has been also proven scientifically through the observer effect. Basically, everything that you are aware of having, of experiencing in your life, or your belief systems, that is going to be projected into your reality. So basically, in order to shift into your desired reality, what you have to do is to become aware of what you want as being real in this present moment until the two realities will collapse into one and it will become real in your 3D experience. So all this quantum jumping is linked to your awareness, because your awareness is the one that is supporting your 3D reality. And yes, quantum jumping and manifestation are literally the same thing, but you say quantum jumping for like a fast manifestation. That's basically it. And now let's get a little bit deeper into how we can actually shift into our desired reality. So because everything comes down to awareness, the same way we are now aware of the reality that we want to change, the same way we need to become aware of the reality that we want as already happening in the present moment. So we basically have to select our desired reality from the menu, the catalog of infinite possibilities of the universe and of our life, and then we have to experience our desired reality in our mind, in our imagination, as already happening in the present moment as much as possible until the outer reality will literally render in front of our eyes and become the one that we actually want to experience. And this everything is happening in our mind, in our imagination. Like for some shifts you don't have to take any actions, but for others it might be necessary to take inspired actions depending on the situation. For example, if you want to shift into the reality where you want to have a Birkin, like you still need to go to the store and buy it, or you still need to do something to make the money to afford it, or at least you can date a rich man that can already buy it for you. It can happen in many ways, but in order to get there you need to already live in your mind as you already have it. So just like right now, you can already imagine that you have the bag in your closet, of course without going to check it, because that would be delusional, because you know that it's not there yet. So how I see this reality shifting in my mind is the same way you are aware now that you are living in the country that you're living in. So now you are living in your home, can be an apartment, a house, and if you are looking on the window, then you will see the buildings from your city. However, if you don't look on the window, then you are just living in your apartment that can be anywhere in the world. Like for me, if I would not be looking now on the window, I can just imagine that I'm actually living in New York or in Paris. Like in my mind, I can convince myself that I am actually living in Paris. This apartment actually exists in Paris. Well, this is also what you have to do in your mind in order to shift into the reality that you want. You need to already experience it in your mind as already being true now. And you need to persist into this knowing, into this new awareness until the 3D reality will literally render in front of your eyes and will become that. And also, let's take it also a bit realistically, because you are already doing this. For example, just think that you would actually move in Paris. and let's say you found a solution, you found a job there, and yeah, you in a few months you will have to move. But before you will move there, you are already thinking that you are living there, because you are already imagining what things you will take with you, how you will arrange your furniture there, how you would like to decorate the new apartment. Like, you are already living in two realities at the same time. And this is an interesting effect of reality shifting, because your body is in the physical current reality, but your mind is already in the new reality that you will experience later. And this is actually the secret. Like, you have to be more aware of the reality that you want to experience in your mind than the one that you are currently in, until the two will shift. And you don't have to be now completely delusional and ignore what is happening now, because you can do what you need to do now, but in your mind already think of what is going to happen in the future. And yes, you can also think of it as in a future tense, but the thing is, what you believe more, in the future or in your current reality. And also, to give another example from our daily life, something that we are already doing is like when you are going on holiday and you want to travel somewhere new, to a new country, which is going to happen in 3 months from now. But you, in your mind, are already imagining what you're gonna do there, what you're going to experience there. You're already planning your trip. Like, you know that is going to happen. So then you are preparing for it, like booking the flights, arranging the accommodation, and planning what activities you would like to enjoy there. Like, at this moment, when you are planning and imagining everything, you are in your home. But you also know that in 3 months from now, you will be in a completely different reality, and you will have a total culture shock in a new place. And before that is going to happen, like, every day you are impatient and daydreaming about it and just can't wait to happen already. And this is what you have to do also for the other things that you want in your life. You have to already expect them as happening, because you have selected that reality, and then you just think from that version of you that already is there, that is already experiencing that, and just thinking like, what are you gonna do then? And you can do this in present or future tense. For me, I prefer to be more delusional and just try to imagine it in my mind as it would be happening in the present moment. And that is because I like the idea of not having to wait for it to happen in your 3D reality. You can already experience it in your mind and already be in a reality that you want. Like, you don't have to wait for it to get there in order to feel what you can already feel now. Everything is already available to you in your imagination. And this is what I like, because in my mind, I can already be where I want to be. I can already be who I want to be, even though my body is doing other activities that are related to the current moment. And then another example is when you are doing online shopping and you have ordered something, you already pay for it, and now you just have to wait for your package to arrive. So now you are living in two realities. One where your body is in the current reality where you don't have that object, and then the second one is in your mind where you already know that you have it and that it is yours. And then you know that sooner or later the package will arrive, and then you can use the product, and then it will be a full-blown 3D experience. And then probably you're thinking, alright, but if I just need to imagine myself in the reality that I want, then why do I have to change my identity? And that is because in some realities that you want to experience, you have to literally be a new person. Like, you need to have different skills, different energy, think differently, behave differently, and also to not have certain limiting or opposing beliefs. And that is because in order to shift into some realities, you need to become a new person. Like, it requires a personal transformation. Like, for example, if you want to shift into the reality where you are a successful artist, like, you at least need a portfolio of artwork so that people have what to admire. Or you have to develop a unique style to stand out. Or you need at least a place, a platform where people can find you. Or, for example, if you want to shift into the reality where you have harmonious relationships with the people in your life, well, how are you going to do that if you have beliefs that people are mean or selfish, or that you are not good enough to be loved or appreciated? created. And when Neville talks about the bridge of incidents, it is not necessarily about the incidents that are happening and changing outside of you, but it is actually about you walking on this bridge from the start to the end where you meet your desires. And when walking on this bridge, you actually have to change yourself. And in some situations, you need a radical transformation. You need to work on your self-concept. And in others, like you already have the supporting beliefs, and all you gotta do is just select and reselect the reality that you want in your mind until you will actually shift. And in order to identify if there is something to change in yourself, then what you have to do is to try to accept the reality that you want as happening right now in this current moment, as being true right now. And in doing this, if you have resistance or makes you feel delusional, then this is your sign that you don't have the supporting beliefs for that reality to be as true now. Otherwise, you would have no resistance to it and you'll be like, of course it's happening right now. Of course, I already am that person. Okay, so where do I start? First, you have to imagine the reality that you want to experience, like exactly what you want. And then you have to acknowledge that this reality already exists in the multiverse. And it's already yours. And then imagine as it is happening in the current moment, or as you already having it, as being it already true. And then you have to sustain this until it will become true. So basically in your mind, you already have to think from the perspective of you having it, of you already experiencing that, just the way you do when you are preparing to go on a trip, or you're already thinking how to use your product that you have bought online. And if in this process you have doubts or opposing thoughts and you don't think anymore that what you want is possible, besides the fact that you need to persist through that, this is also a sign that you still have some limiting beliefs that you need to work on. And you have to see like what things you need to change in yourself in order to accept it as true happening now, or in believing that it can be possible. And you have to persist in your mind in already having or experiencing what you want until it will become true. And I know, especially at the beginning, this whole process seems very trippy. Like sometimes I really feel like I am gradually teleporting myself into a new reality. But this is the thing, that the more you experience it in your mind and you get, accustomed to it, the more it starts to feel natural and normal, the sooner, the closer you will be to experience it in your 3D reality. And it really feels like teleporting, because once you get there, it will feel so normal and natural to experience that. It's like you've already been experiencing that the whole time. It's like you've always been this way. Like, of course, that would have happened. But at the beginning, when you started, it felt very weird. Of course, like when you are truly experiencing that in your 3D reality, it feels normal. So this is what you need to get. You need to normalize the new reality that you want. And this is also exactly what is happening when you are moving to a new place, to a new home. Like at the beginning, it feels new and fresh, but after a few months, you get used to it and it feels like, yeah, I've always been living here. It's always been like this. This has always been my home. Well, this is actually what it means to shift realities. And it all depends on you, on how fast can you change and how much can you persist in this new reality that you want to experience, and that will determine how fast you will actually get there. And when I say reality rendering, I really mean it, because once the shift starts, you will start to see all sorts of signs and synchronicities everywhere, and these are signs of movement that you are on the right path. And in your reality shifting process, you also have to do this daily exercise, and I call it a reality check. Like you always have to ask yourself, all right, in which reality am I living right now? What I am aware of the reality that I want, of the one that I'm currently in and I don't want anymore. And this will help you to keep yourself in check and stay focused on the reality that you want, and to keep persisting until we will actually experience it. I am Anneliese, and I am passionate about becoming the best version of ourselves and living our dream life, because it's already ours. Thank you so much for watching and stay until the end, and I'm sure that you will love this next video as well. Love you, bye!